Hey there, fellow detective. Welcome back to Killers Among Us. In Japan, there is a national character called Doraemon, which is prized as the most beloved hero in Asia. For those who are not familiar with Doraemon's story, let me explain. The protagonist, Nobita Nobi, is an average elementary school student who loves to sleep and isn't good at studying. However, one day, thanks to Doraemon, a robot cat from the future, he gradually overcomes his difficulty. The robot cat is known for his friendly and cheerful personality and has become a beloved character in Japan and many other countries. But 1999, a shocking incident occurred in Japan where this lovable character took a dark turn. A teenager named Takayuki Fukuda entered a home and attacked a woman, violently killed her, then sexually violated her corpse. Who was Takayuki Fukuda? Why did he target this woman and her baby? How did he kill them? How did he get caught, and where is he now? It happened on April 14, 1999, in an apartment located in Hikari City, Yamaguchi Prefecture, Japan. A plumbing company employee named Takayuki Fukuda was going around each apartment checking the water pipes. He had just graduated from high school and started working as a new employee at the age of 18, so he was full of enthusiasm. His job was simple, going from door to door, turning on the water in the bathrooms, and inspecting for any abnormalities. Starting from building block 10, the inspection continued and reached building 8 and 7. At 2:20 p.m., Takayuki rang the doorbell at another house. After a while, a 23-year-old woman named Motomura, who lived there, opened the door. The staff said it would only take a moment as they needed to check the bathroom pipes. Takayuki ran straight to the bathroom to check the pipes while Motomura continued watching TV in the living room without much thought. However, after about 10 minutes at 2:30 p.m., a scream was heard. Suddenly, Takayuki grabbed Motomura from behind and turned into a robber. He pushed her to the ground. As he climbed on top of her, he showed a strange behavior of gripping her lower abdomen with both hands. In this sudden situation, Motomura resisted fiercely and screamed. But Takayuki choked her neck, and after a while, her body went limp. It was an unexpected murder by a seemingly good plumber, Takayuki. But his heinous act did not end there. He tied Motomura's hands and taped her mouth and nose, and then proceeded to do unthinkable things to her lifeless body. It was grotesque, but the bigger problem was that Motomura wasn't the only one in the house. Suddenly, the cries of 11-month babies echoed throughout the house. Takayuki filled with fear, worried that his crime would be exposed. The children couldn't testify, but its mere presence was unsettling. After a while, Takayuki found the crying 11-month baby was on the bed and threw her onto the floor before strangling her with a rope. He then put the baby's body in a laundry bag and put it in a closet with her mother's, Motomura's, body. He searched the house and took a wallet before leaving the scene. When her husband, Hiroshi, returned home from work that afternoon, he discovered these gruesome scenes. His wife's body was in a closet and his daughter's body was in a bag on a shelf. The shock was indescribable, but luckily, the murderer was quickly identified and arrested. On April 18, 415 days after the incident, Takayuki, who had been using the stolen money, was finally caught by the police. He admitted to all charges except for intentional murder, claiming that he did not have any intention to kill. So why did he kill? It was bizarre. He said he saw Motomura for the first time that day, and that she looked so much like his stepmother that he suddenly hugged her. But because she screamed, he had to kill her. It makes no sense to me. And why did he kill the baby? He said he didn't intend to kill her, but when she wouldn't stop crying, he tied a ribbon around her neck. It's absurd. But the most ridiculous statement is yet to come. Why do you put the bodies in the laundry bag in the closet? The police asked him. And Takayuki's answer was, I thought Doraemon would help me. This one sentence shocked all of Japan. It turns out he was a huge fan of Doraemon, but not just a fan. He believed that Doraemon actually existed. In the manga, Doraemon's bathroom is inside a closet, so he believed that if he put the dead body in the closet, Doraemon could come and save her. And as for why he estimated that Motomura was dead, it's his own explanation. He had read a fantasy novel about reincarnation, and in it, the man's sperm could revive humans. So he thought that if he could revive Motomura, he would be able to do so with the dead babies too. I've heard many absurd stories, but this one takes the cake. Even though it sounds ridiculous, it could have a big impact on the verdict. He believes that he was trying to save people by his action, so it's not murder, but unintentional manslaughter. Can you believe that there is someone so shameless and insane in this world? It's clear that he's mentally disturbed, but was there no warning sign before this? Let's take a look at Takayuki's past. His childhood was quite unfortunate. His father was an alcoholic and a gambler, and he was a victim of domestic violence. When he was a child in elementary school, his father would turn him upside down and put him in a bathtub. When Takayuki was in the first grade of middle school, his mother couldn't take the violence anymore and make the ultimate decision to kill herself. This must have left a lasting trauma on his life. From his third year of middle school, Takayuki showed a strong interest in the opposite sex, but it wasn't for love. It was purely for sexual desires. He was obsessed with all kinds of perverted sexual activities. After graduating from school, he did get a job, but he was not a diligent employee. At the time of the crime, he had just started working for 10 days and had already missed work 3 times. Looking back, it's puzzling why they would assign someone like him to do a home visit. But the truth is, he didn't even show up to work on that day of the crime. He pretended to be doing a pipe inspection, but he was actually going around to different houses. He arrived at Building 7 before he visited his aunt's house. He planned out a crime and searched for a suitable victim during broad daylight. Even after committing the murder, he tried to hide any evidence that may have his fingerprints on it. It's hard to believe that someone who mentions Doraemon would have such a meticulous plan. Even after being arrested, Takayuki continued to exhibit strange behavior. One day, Motomura's husband Harashi received a letter from Takayuki. The content showed no signs of remorse. He blamed the current state of the world. He also blamed his environment for his actions. This caused a stir in the Japanese media, and he made various absurd statements. After his arrest, he displayed erratic behavior, and the prosecution argued that there were no chance for rehabilitation, and he should receive the death penalty due to the severity of his crime. However, Takayuki argued that it was unintentional manslaughter. In the first trial, he was sentenced to life in prison instead of the death penalty. This was because the courts recognized the accidental nature of his crime and saw potential for remorse. The verdict really shocked the victim's husband Harashi. He didn't hide his intense anger and even threatened to kill Takayuki if he was released. The appeals and retrials dragged on, and it wasn't until April 2008 that the final verdict was announced. Finally, the Supreme Court sentenced Takayuki to death, along with the High Court. At the time of the crime, Takayuki was classified as a minor, so he was protected by the juvenile law, but he couldn't escape punishment. This was highly unusual in Japan. Despite being in prison, Takayuki didn't give up. He submitted a mental health evaluation as evidence and continued to appeal. Even in 2020, 21 years after the crime, he made another appeal. The Supreme Court rejected the appeal and even banned any possibility of a retrial. He is currently on death row in Japan awaiting his execution. Over the years, there were 23 letters that Takayuki wrote to his friends, which could be used as evidence. However, Hawashi, the victim's family, never received any apology letters. When the defense submitted this unexpected evidence, the defense fiercely resisted, claiming that it was a violation of the Constitution and the right of privacy. However, the judge declared the objection invalid, and the content of Takayuki's letter were revealed. I will be out soon after 7 or 8 years. You must throw a big party to welcome me. And this is how Takayuki described his crime. One day, I met a cute female dog and I did it. Is it even a crime? He also hinted at the possibility of another victim. These words are in stark contrast to what the judge said about Takayuki's having a bright future and showing sincere remorse. It's a huge irony. The letters were not only disrespectful to the victim's dignity, but also the judicial process. It's also struck a nerve with the public. In one day, Harashi lost his beloved wife and 11-month-old daughter in a horrific murder. Harashi, who experienced immense grief, didn't give up. However, there are also people in Japan who don't wield him sympathetically. If you search online, you can find some ridiculous comments and hate speech towards him. Even after 13 years since his wife and children's death, Harashi remarried to start a new family, but some people still criticize and attack him for it. Some even accuse him of using the tragedy for financial gain. Perhaps due to this controversy, news of his current whereabouts in life are constantly shared in Japan. It's ironic that the interest and attention seems to be on the victim's family instead of the criminal. Harashi saying that people were so indifferent and uninterested 20 years ago when the crime happened, but now they are curious about his well-being. He couldn't understand the psychology behind this. The most notorious aspect of this case was Takayuki's absurd excuses and statements. His comment about Doraemon helping him dispose of the body became infamous. Perhaps aware of the negative impact in some Japanese online communities, "Let's ask Doraemon for help" is listed as a prohibited search term.